2 video on this channel. I did make a Division 1 video back in like the off time of Division 1. I ended up taking it off my channel because it actually had some audio issues. So that's not on my channel anymore. You won't find it. It was actually a Predator build video. But you can find plenty of those on YouTube if you're looking for those for Division 1. This is Division 2. I know it's a dying game. But like with Destiny 2, I put my faith into the community to help get the developers' attentions of what we needed, and look what happened in Destiny 2. It's probably much better than Destiny 1 is at this point in time. So I have my faith, and I hope it'll pay off. So yeah, in this one, I am going to kind of go over my Merciless build and then show you an example in the shooting range. I'm not going to show any in-game examples, just because I kind of want to get this one out quick, so you guys to see. I want to see the reaction to the Division 2 content. And just know I am going to be uploading a lot of Division 2, but I'm not going to stop with Destiny 2. I'm going to try to even out my times 50-50 with Destiny 2 and Division 2. So, with that all being said, let's get into the video. This is a Merciless. That's it right there on the side right there. Finally got it to drop. I kind of posted on my Instagram how hyped I was to get it. But the Merciless exotic rifle. This is a rifle that fires two, and I'll just go to the weapon quick. We'll show the weapon first of all. This is a rifle that has the talent binary trigger. This weapon is equipped with a binary trigger that fires on trigger pull and release, meaning you shoot once when you pull your trigger down once, and when you let go of the trigger or your mouse click, whatever you want to do, it fires a second bullet. Now, its other talent, guerrilla warfare, pulling the trigger fires primer rounds that stay embedded in an enemy. Releasing the trigger fires detonator rounds that detonate all primers on the enemy it hits. Each primer detonated gains 75% damage per primer detonated. Only one enemy can have primers, and at most 5 primers can be embedded. I forgot the last time I made a Division video, it was a lot of talking. So I might be out of breath a little bit because I'm not used to this much talking. On that, with a build in a little bit. And its holstered perk, while holstered, landing a shot has a 5% chance to deal 20% damage as explosive damage. Wow. That alone is an insane amount of explosive damage. How do you build onto that? Well, first I'm going to go over my secondary. Honestly, whatever here works best for you. I recommend an LMG or an AR, so you have that increased range. With an auto fire, I prefer ARs over LMGs in this game, though I know LMGs are insane. I'm going for a G36 enhanced with these similar rules, but I can't remember the drop, so a G36 will work. I have 14.2k damage with a 750 RPM and a 40 mag. This could benefit from, what's it called? Increased rate of fire, Allegro. It could benefit from our Lego talent. But my talents I have on it are Ranger. Every 5 meters you are from the enemy target grants 2% weapon damage. This thing melts. And I will show you kind of why. Kind of goes into my build a little bit. But it also has stable, which is 15% stability, and stop, drop, and roll while equipped. Whirling removes burning, bleed, and poison status. This is very helpful. Though it's very situational, it's very helpful. Okay, so your sidearm doesn't really matter. I just like to run Ignited on my D50 because I do run Survivalist, and I actually could look into my Survivalist. I'll run up there at the very end to show you what I'm running on my Survivalist. But let's go into the armor now. The mask, I'm running 10% explosive damage on a China Light Industries Corporation, with 27% damage to elites and 12% hazard protection. The talent, I'm currently looking for a mask to drop explosive damage, or demolition, no, not demolition, destructive. That way I'm gonna kind of recalibrate it to this mask, and my god, am I gonna be doing so much damage on just one piece of mask. It doesn't matter to get the other two China Light Industries stuff, unless you want to get that 30% skill haste. You go ahead and do that, as long as you have the good rolls on those China Lights. But I recommend the mask, because it's the easiest one to get, and it is probably the best one. For my backpack, this one is kind of 50-50. Right now I'm running a 7% damage to elites.
Agent requesting backup.
Thanks, Isaac. But I also have another backpack that has destructive and on the ropes, which arguably is much better. But the reason I'm using this is because part of this build goes into my armor. So taking that away puts me down to 247,000. That's also because the mods that I'm running on this, also there's no mod slots on the China Light, so don't have to worry about that. I'll go into mods as I go through them. So the reason I'm running this right now is because it gives me increased armor. And part of this build is staying alive out of cover enough so you can shoot the Merciless off. If you're not shooting off the Merciless, then its perk is basically useless. So I like to have tons of armor. It has 7.5% increase as well as 11.5 thousand increased armor. And then you also have that 3.5% weapon damage and 2% critical hit chance, which realistically I could, probably recalibrate to something else like rifle damage to increase my shots, my Merciless. But also, if you do want to get a second Badger brand set, you could also get armor on kill. And I do run Chem Launcher for the health, so even getting a third Badger Tough brand set would be very good because I'd get that Chem Launcher skill power. Though it wouldn't be, I think it does more healing when using the healer. But anyway, the other backpack I could use has protection from elites as well as 2% weapon damage. Once I get another backpack though, that I can transfer over the armor stat to this one, I'm going to replace the health. And it's going to be my main backpack just because of the 20% explosive damage. I'll get into my numbers after I go through the armor and then do a little show testing. So for my vest, this is actually pretty much a god roll vest for this build. It has 10% rifle damage, so that goes into the Merciless. 7.5% total armor if you get 2 Overlords, which is really good. And then for the attributes, it has 8.5% weapon damage, which increases both Merciless and your secondary. 9% headshot damage, again, does both, as well as 31.3k armor increase. This was actually recalibrated. And then for my talent, I also have destructive. For my mods, I have one offensive with 2% weapon damage, 2.5% weapon handling, and 1.5% critical range, as well as a defensive one with 7.4 thousand armor. So this is about 40k armor on one armor piece, not including the 7.5% total armor. So it's insane, as well as 4% damage or explosive resistance, and actually 1.5% total armor. So that's another increase. This piece of armor. Very grateful to my clanmate who gave me the set to transfer over. My gloves, I do want to change. I want to recalibrate some of it, but otherwise I would use these for the rifle damage and total armor protection. I'm just using, actually, why am I using these? Yeah, okay, so we're actually using these instead. So I got the third Overlord armament brand set now, so I get more damage to elites, which then ties into more to my build, as well as more increased armor and more rifle damage. SMG with this build, if you want to run it like that, though I'd recalibrate it to like AR damage or rifle damage, or even just weapon damage and all, so you can keep building those stats up. Another thing about this build is skill power is going to be very, very low, so you're not going to get any mods on your skills to really go up. Notice how none of my mods on my skills are really up, which sucks. But your main damage is coming from your Merciless, so just keep that in mind. Holster. I'm running one that I do want to change out. This is the one I was running before, but I do want more explosive damage. So I'm running with 10% accuracy and then skill power attribute, which I probably could recalibrate elsewhere. But I have nothing on this one that I really like besides crit hit damage. I already recalibrated this one though, so I won't be able to move that one over. So I kind of take a loss and did a little bit less armor. But I'm going to have to take the risk. I can put a mod on it. We're going to do an offensive slot and total weapon damage most likely of... what was my most? Looks like 1.5, so I'll put it on with optimal range and weapon damage, or headshot damage. So that way the range then ties into my AR with Ranger perk on. Finally, my knee pads. My knee pads are subject to change just because I want one with... actually, I wouldn't mind Perseverance, but Distractive is also welcomed. It's an Overlord armament, that's why I want to keep this one on, so I can get that brand set of 3 going and get that increased damage to elites. I have attribute of crit chance. I could recalibrate that to something better, but for the sake of the hard-hitting damage to elites, I keep it on. So that's all of that. Not that much for mods going on, but let's go into the stats of the build. So most of my weapon talents and armor talents are in, actually all of them are. My overall weapon damage isn't that high, 37,000, but it kind of all ties into the talents on the weapon. And like I said, this build is meant to be kind of a tanky. I'm a 10.61, so more offensive, but I have a lot of armor for a build like this. So that's good. I have a crit hit chance of 5.5%. That's not good, but if you have decent aim, it's gonna help out a lot. I have critical hit damage of 40%, which is decent. A 72% headshot damage, which means if you have a really good shot, this headshots are gonna melt. Thing with the Merciless though, you don't have to go for headshots. I'm gonna kind of critique or go into that when I'm showing the weapon case. Range of 50. I don't think that's including some of the talents kicking in, some of the perks kicking in. 15% accuracy and stability are both 20%. We're going to get to the most important stats here of offensive. The 22% 0.5% weapon handling is pretty good. 17% all weapons damage bonus could be subject to change with different attributes moving in. Okay. It is not good at all. It needs a little increase. Okay, I have 15% assault rifle damage bonus. This build isn't focused around ARs, so that is a decent number. I could potentially get up to like 22% by moving an attribute to one of my gears that I want to get changed. LMG damage bonus, that comes from one of the gear sets that I don't really need, so that can just be irregarded. SMG damage also just not regarded, as well as shotgun damage. Marksman rifle and pistol damage do not regard it. Damage rifle bonus, though it does help the Merciless, is not very needed. So it just comes on some of the brand sets, but it's 28%. If I would like to, I'd like to move a little bit more to all weapons damage, since it's not bad. Damage to elites, though, it's 51%. I want to keep that up above 50. So maybe a little bit more would be nice. Armor and health damage don't really matter. My armor is at 277,000. So there's that. Armor and kills on 0%. I don't really need it, considering I'm using the chem launcher. Armor regeneration is 13,000. Again, it's not super important because I'm using the chem launcher. Max health shouldn't be important because I don't plan on losing my armor a lot. I do have backup armors to have, what's the damn talent called? It's on one of my backpacks. No, it's on one of my chest pieces. Unstoppable Horse. So that's a good way to help. Your hazard protection is very important. 36% on that. 36% on all of it because it's a hazard. And then my skills are all going to be at 688 basically, including my skill haste. So that's it for that. I'm going to get into what makes this weapon so good, and really how to use it. So we're going to equip this, and I'll show you what it does. So if you shoot once, okay, you saw it right there. You can hold on to it too. So there's the trigger. You can see the symbol above the head. And when you let go, it fires the primer, or the igniter. So you do the explosive damage. I want to show, okay, so the first shot you see, it barely does anything. So rifle damage doesn't really do much. But here's where the explosive damage comes in. Boom. You one-shot red bars. Now, when I'm running this one, I'm at 70% or destructive. I'm sitting at 90% increase to explosive damage. That's not even including possibly getting a roll or a talent swap onto my China Light, which will add another 20%, putting me at 110% increase to explosive damage. Meaning this thing is going to be trucking out kills. We're going to pump this up. Show you guys I'm veteran. Here's what one will do. Puts him down to about half armor. We're going to reset it. And show you what... Here, I'll just kill him off. I'll show you what... So this is how you stack it also. You shoot once, you miss it. You keep... Okay, well, that didn't work out. Oof. So you see right next to the gun, there's a little stack number. I'm going slow for emphasis. So now you have 5 stacks. Just about one-shot them. And I'm pretty sure it can one-shot an elite. I'll show you right here. Yes, it can one-shot an elite. So getting that 5 stack, it does take some training. It took me a while to get this down, but we're going to show you what it can do on a named enemy as well. It melts. It very much melts. Now just be aware, it does transfer over, or does not transfer over. So I was really struggling there. Notice how like I don't really need to hit headshots, because my number one priority is just getting those primers on. Because you're not doing any damage with the actual marksman rifle. You're doing, or not the marksman rifle. You're not doing any damage with the weapon itself, but from the exotic perk. So I mean, you really don't have to hit your headshots. You just have to hit. You have to hit a shot and miss a shot continuously 5 times. So that's really all you have to do. Now I don't think I've died within 30 minutes, so I want to go show you these two to synergize with each other. Otherwise, I just avoided really upgrading anything else. This is where the LMG and SMG buffs actually come from. I just didn't know where to put them. I could probably put them in sidearm actually. That's really all the build is. They need more diversity when it comes to builds. So we are going to run over there. And we are going to see if there's any enemies there. Just know that this is actually a way to grind out your card sets. A named enemy spawns down here after every 30 minutes of you not dying. So once you kill this one, or if you kill a random one walking around, 30-minute timer will start. If you die within that 30 minutes, it'll time out or restart. We actually have one. To get this weapon, by the way, you need to kill a named hyena boss. Actually, my friend had it drop for him, and he already had one, so he gave it to me during a Jefferson Trade Plaza. So that guy's gotta go first. These are not the best examples of using the exotic perk, but you gotta really pace your shots, unless you're used to it all. There we go. And I'll just show the DPS with the range on the AR. But yeah, that's really all the build is just stacking the explosive damage and then just timing your shots. What actually dropped on this? Trash. Actually, what's the armor? Trash. So yeah, that's really all this build is. To get this, just kill the named Titan enemies. Doing that in the Dark Zone could be helpful, but I recommend running challenging with at least 3 teammates on Jefferson Trade Plaza, or Trade Center, and you'll probably get in a couple runs. There's a high chance to drop on challenging. So I recommend running that if you want this weapon. It's a very, very good exotic. Doesn't beat Eagle Bear though, but it's definitely one of the tops. Sometime next week, expect either a Chatterbox